Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about communication. It is something we cannot avoid no matter how hard we try. We are constantly communicating with our world, whether it's with people in our environment, whether it's with our spouses, family members, friends, coworkers. There's always a need for us to be communicating, and we don't always do it very well. So today we'll talk about how to assert yourself. Now, some of us struggle with assertive communication because we worry that we will come across not very nice, that people will think differently of us. And also we worry that we're not going to have our needs met. So some of us tend to engage in more passive communication. When we act as if something doesn't really bother us, maybe we don't really say anything about it to the person, and we just go on with our day without addressing the issue at all. Some of us opt for more aggressive communication. Maybe we are quick to yell or to criticize or to label or blame or name call. It tends not to go very well. It's not a productive style of communicating, and the outcome doesn't tend to go in our favor. There's also passive aggressive communication, which I'm sure most of you have experienced in one way or another. It's those underhanded jabs that we tend to do to meet our own needs without actually confronting or addressing the real issues at hand. It's like showing up late for an appointment because you're irritated with your provider in some way. That's one example. The last type of communication is assertive communication. So as you can guess from the title of this live event, that's the focus. Assertive communication is the best way to communicate with people around us. It gives us the best chance to be effective in our message. It gives us the best chance to have a positive outcome that we are so desiring. So today we will talk about a super simple way to integrate assertive communication into your daily life. Use this desk script as your reminder of the 4 factors to integrate into this style. D stands for describe. So you're going to describe the situation that's causing the upset, and you're going to stick to the facts. This isn't a place for opinions or emotion. This is really the place to just stick to what the facts are and describe the situation without judgment. E stands for express. This is where you have a chance to actually say how this particular fact-based situation impacts your emotions in some negative way. S stands for specify. So you're going to specify what you're looking to have change in this situation. And C is consequence. You're going to identify the positive and or negative consequences if this behavior is to change, as well as if this behavior is not to change. So the example that I'll give is, let's imagine that you and your spouse tend to kind of divvy up the housework, and you each have your own roles and responsibilities at home. But you've found that lately, as in maybe the last few weeks or maybe the last few months, you're the only one who's doing one of these tasks, and you're not feeling supported at all. And let's say it's unloading the dishwasher. So you're finding that every time you walk into the kitchen, that dishwasher is clean and ready to be unloaded, and it hasn't been, even though your spouse may have been through the kitchen several times that day. You start to build resentment, you start to build frustration. You're not quite sure how to handle it. So of course you could be passive, say nothing, try to accept that it's just maybe something that you'll do more of, and maybe you try that at first. And then you realize it's not actually working for me. I'm still feeling pretty frustrated, even though I've tried to just accept that this is how it's going to be. Maybe you try yelling at your spouse and saying, I can't stand that you do this every time. Why do you leave me with this job and task when you come through the kitchen and could help me out? I hate that you're so lazy. That tends not to go very well. Or we could be passive aggressive and just leave it, right? We could just leave that dishwasher and just worry about our own dishes, clean our own dishes, and leave it. And if your spouse needs something, they're going to have to get it out of the clean dishwasher or unload it. That tends not to work in our favor either. So by using the desk script, we give ourselves the best chance to relieve ourselves of any resentment or frustration, feel that we are communicating our needs, and getting our needs met, which is really helpful for any healthy relationship, it gives us the best chance of a positive outcome. So D is describe. What you might say in this particular situation is, hey honey, I've unloaded the dishwasher. I've been the only one that's unloaded the dishwasher for the last several months. Fact. Period. Dot. The end. E. Express. I feel really frustrated and unsupported that I'm the only one doing this. Period. Don't insert names. Don't criticize. S. Specify. I really need you to help me out. Can you please put some effort into unloading the dishwasher whenever you notice that it's full and it's ready to be unloaded? That's it. C. Consequence. By doing this, you're going to help me feel so much less stressed in my daily life, and I'll be so appreciative. That's the positive consequence. The negative consequence you could say would be, if you don't help me out with this, I'm going to feel so frustrated that I'm going to end up nagging you about it all the time, and I know you don't want to hear me nagging at you. Can you please help me out? Please unload the dishwasher. Sounds simple, right? 4 factors to remember. D, E, S, C. Describe, express, specify, and consequence. One more thing about the express factor. Make sure that you start with that I statement. Don't start with, you suck at unloading the dishwasher. Start with, I feel frustrated, I feel resentful that you're not helping me out with this. I feel this way, right? We want to avoid blaming, we want to avoid name calling, we want to avoid a fight is the goal, right? So, DESC, super simple in theory. I understand that it's harder in practice to integrate, but use it in places first where there isn't much risk involved. Like, let's say you're at the coffee shop and the barista makes your coffee incorrectly, and you think to yourself, okay, I have 4 options here. I could be passive and not say anything and just leave. I could be aggressive and slam my coffee back down and demand that it get fixed. I could be passive aggressive and not leave them a tip if I typically would. Or I could be assertive and just address it and see if I could get the outcome that I'm actually looking to get, right? So start somewhere simple that's low risk. It doesn't feel too close to home that you're risking a fight or some type of negative interaction. Once you start with those smaller examples that are less threatening to you and you build a sense of mastery over this particular script, bring it to the heavy hitters, right? Bring it to the relationships that are a little bit riskier, that you might find you're talking to someone that might be more defensive than you'd like, but you still want to have your needs met and you still want to address the issue and assert yourself. Try that out after you get comfortable working with the smaller examples in your life. I believe that you will find this particular style of communication to be quite effective, really helpful. You get to sidestep a lot of unnecessary fights in your life, and you just get to address it, hopefully get those needs met, and move on with your day. It becomes a non-issue. It becomes just the way you communicate. It doesn't cause stress, it doesn't cause anxiety once you're accustomed to it and used to it and familiar with how to do it. You just get to get back to your life. Your glass stays mostly empty if possible, and that's it. So I hope it was helpful. I'd love to hear your examples of getting out there and practicing the style of communication in your life. Try it out all over the place. Whenever you see an opportunity, try to seize the opportunity and give yourself some feedback after. Also make sure to praise yourself, to give yourself a pat on the back for using a different style of communication than you typically use. Change is not easy in practice. It's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar to us. It can feel awkward or forced or robotic, and that's all fine, that's all normal. Just make sure that your intention behind it is to improve your stress, improve your life, feel like you're making some progress. And one area that we're constantly pinged with stress is communication. So why not try a different style that might actually get you a more successful, positive outcome? That is it for today. Feel free to send me some messages with how you used assertive communication over the next few days. I'd love to hear it. And enjoy the sunshine.